All right, as many of you know, I live in South Mississippi. We have brutal summers. Not only is it hot, the heat index today is like 105, 106, and the humidity is just through the roof. We have been getting all kinds of rain. Today is the first day, probably all week, we haven't had a bunch of rain coming in here. And rain is what, 100% humidity? Well, when it ain't raining, that humidity is still way up there. And it's just brutal, and I try to shoot these videos year long, and barbecue videos, that's a lot of work, a lot of heat in itself, trying to come out here and tend the fire and everything with all this heat around you. Well, some of you know, and a lot of you probably don't know, I started a DIY channel about 1 year and 5 months ago, and all that's also done outside, typically right here in my garage, working on cars, welding, just whatever the case may be at that time. But there again, extremely hot. And so I've been thinking about a way to get some sort of relief. So I reached out to Vevor about getting one of their evaporative coolers, and they agreed to do a collaboration with me on that. I've got it over here, and I'm going to show it to you, and we're going to go over that, and I'm going to show you how it works, and we'll talk about the pros and the cons on it as well. Let's go ahead and get started with that. I'll tell you what, I started sweating just from standing out there in the sun shooting this intro. Well, this is the unit here, made by Vevor. Now that fan's turning way faster than what it looks. That's just something to do with the frame rate on this phone. Well, this is it. It's got 3 speeds. I'm on the high speed right there. That's speed number 3. All right, it's got the power button here. This mode, I've got it set just on straight fan, but this mode would give you like a natural wind to where it kind of speeds up, slows down, kind of mimicking wind. It's got a timer if you want to use that. Now this cooling is, I'll go over that in just a minute. First, let's do the swing. The swing is to where these blades will oscillate. I normally don't use that because I'm out here by myself and I want the air directed at me. Now let's get back to this cooling. Right now the cooling is turned on. And what that does is it takes water from this bottom tank. I think that's a 7-gallon tank, and it pumps the water up through here. And if you'll notice these holes right here, all the way around, that allows the water to trickle back down through these holes. And what it does from there is you've got this material all the way down to the tank. You got it on the side, you got it all across the back. And that water trickles down this material all around it and drips back into the tank and returns right back to the top. And little by little, it evaporates water. Anytime you have evaporation, you get a temperature drop across there. So as air is sucked in through the back and through the sides, you're actually lowering the temperature of the air. Now, you'll hear a lot of people say that these are pretty much ineffective in a real humid climate like I live in. Well, that's not necessarily true, and we're going to show you that here in just a moment. But where they are the most beneficial is in drier climates like Arizona, New Mexico, with very low humidity, because this kind of creates, or it does create its own humidity as it evaporates this water, but it drops this temperature as much as 30 degrees in a real dry climate. Now, I'm not expecting that kind of drop being as humid as it is, but let me tell you, any kind of drop is noticeable. And on the top of this lid, you got a few places to keep drinks or keys, cell phones, just whatever. All right, now this unit came with 4 of these little bottles. And what you do, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a powder in the bottom. You fill these up with water and it creates like a gel, and you freeze these. Well, once you freeze them, you can actually lift this lid up and place them in that center and that'll help cool this water down even more. Or you can take ice and do the same thing. I don't typically do that. The water is sufficient enough, just the evaporation. Not only that, it don't last long at all. I mean, once this water starts circulating, I actually did ice on this the other day, and it was gone within 10 minutes. Now, it did drop the temperature of the water, but I just typically don't do it. Now, here's the instructions that come with it. It's also remote control. There's a little remote control for it. And it's got all the same controls as you have right here. Don't even know if I'll ever use that because I'll be out here anyway, but hey, you never know. You got it in case you do want to. I've got a psychrometer, and if you'll look at the air going into the back, it's got 98.3 dry bulb. That's actual temperature. All right, let's go to the front of it. Let's let it blow in front of this air here, and keep in mind as that water evaporates, it will drop the temperature. Pay attention to that dry bulb, see how it's dropping. So we were at 97. We already dropped 7 degrees. That's pretty good already in this high humidity. That shows you there, this will definitely cool the air. From 97 to wherever this level's off at, it'll be noticeable. Plus you have the air moving over you, which that in itself will help cool you down. Oh yeah, we're already dropped 10 degrees. 10 degrees drop. Looks like it's on level off right there. So that's pretty good. Now, if you're in a really dry climate, you could potentially drop 20 to even 30 degrees cooler. But I'll take 10 degrees down here in South Mississippi all day long. All right, I turn these louvers down a little bit so that wind wouldn't be messing my audio up. Now let me show you what I've been using up to this point. Excuse my garage, but this fan right here, this is what I've been using for probably the last 10 years of living here. Need to clean the back, it's got a lot of dust buildup. But one reason I can't use this a lot of times when filming is listen how loud this thing is. That is way louder than this evaporative cooler, better known as a swamp cooler. Now this will move some air, but when you come out here and you're not sweating, that feels like a blow dryer blowing on you. It's just the same temperature as the air that's in here. Now when you're sweating, it does feel okay, but it still doesn't feel anything like this swamp cooler does. So the only other thing I can think to tell you is these louvers will let up and down. There's a few finger places there when you first get it that will let you pull them up, and you can pull them up and blow them in your face or down low. Like if I'm working under a vehicle, I can point it downward like it is now and be able to get up under the vehicle and stay cool, no problem. Also, I wanted to mention there's a place right here. This comes with this coupler to where you can hook a garden hose to it. Now this is one of those collapsible hoses that I got, and I've got it to where I can just leave this hooked up to a water faucet. When I'm using it, you can open that valve, and inside of here there's a float valve that will maintain the water level, because this water does evaporate. If you let this thing run like 3 or 4 hours, it's going to start using probably half of it, if not more. So I'm going to keep that open while running it. Then I don't have to worry about, you know, this thing running out of water. You don't never want to run it out of water because it can burn up your pump. And if you notice here, there's a plug where you can drain it. When you're done with it, I would recommend draining it. Then I would run this thing probably 30 minutes to an hour to dry everything off to where mildew doesn't start forming or any kind of bacteria. That's how I'm going to do it. And the only installation on this is these casters. Each caster has 4 screws, and I just laid this one on its side on the box that it came with and went ahead and screwed these in. Took just a few minutes. I put this coupler on here, And that was basically it. That's the only installation. All right, so I think I've showed you everything I can show you on this. It's definitely cooling me down. I didn't say this earlier, but a couple of weeks ago I had a close call. I think I was about that close to having a heat stroke. I felt weird, man. I hadn't eaten that morning. I wasn't really drinking any water. I was out here working on a GMC Denali. And all of a sudden, man, my mind, I couldn't think straight. I was like getting all loopy headed. I don't know how to explain it. And it lasted even after I cooled off that night. I was still experiencing that. I think I was borderline having some sort of heat stroke. So that was kind of a wake up call. And that's one reason I reached out to Vevor, because I work with them on various products, as y'all know if you've been following my channel. And so, you know, they do have these that are bigger with more surface area. And they got a variety of these, but I'll have a link to this one in the description. I'll also have a code for a 5% discount. Plus, if you register, I think you'll even get more of a discount. Not positive on that, but you can tell that when you go to the website. But this one sells for around $192, I believe. But you can check it out if you're interested in getting one of these. If you're an outdoor griller, smoker, whatever, have this pointing in your direction, I promise you, it's going to feel great. This will feel good on a patio, in the outdoors, just wherever. But I appreciate y'all watching. I'm Russ Jones with Smoky Ribs Barbecue.